Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to That 70s Rock Fan. Those who've watched this channel and listened to some of my live streams might know that I am terminally unhip and I'm therefore a huge, massive fan of the Beatles, Paul McCartney and Wings. I think they're pretty hip. Some people don't. And I did do a video some time back of my top 10 post-Beatles Paul McCartney albums. And I've just got an album recently, which if I remade that video would be in the top 10 for sure. It is One Hand Clapping, the latest Paul McCartney and Wings retrospective release. Now, this is not part of Paul's archive series, which is a fantastic series of repackages and reissues with tons of additional material that he's done for every album, or many albums, going way back to the first McCartney solo album. I've got many of these. I particularly love the Wings Over America box archive collection package, which is magnificent. And the Flaming Pie one is also absolutely tremendous. Lots of extra artwork, books, multiple different versions of recordings and sessions and stuff. So those are always worth seeking out. Very limited. Many of them are out of print now, so you'd have to get them from eBay or the like. Anyway, One Hand Clapping is not one of those. It's actually a collection of sessions that were done back in August 74 by Paul, Denny, Lane, and Linda McCartney as they welcomed into the band two new members, Jeff Britton on drums and Jimmy McCulloch on lead guitar, to augment the band in preparation for not only more recordings but live sessions and live gigs. So August 74, those 4 days worth of sessions at Abbey Road while the band rehearsed and performed live studio versions of various tracks recorded at the time by David Litchfield for a documentary, which you can see in many places, as it's also a DVD version that was released in the Band on the Run archive set, and showing the band performing this stuff and being interviewed in the studio. And a lot of that stuff is on YouTube and on Paul McCartney's channel. Check out like things, the video for Soily, for instance, fantastic. Now, these songs have existed over the years in many formats. Some of them have been B-sides, some have turned up on compilations, fan club compilations, and in various places in archive sessions over the years. So the material has been readily available, but not necessarily collected together like this in one, for me, double vinyl LP. I mistakenly thought I was buying the version with the extra 7-inch 6-track EP, and I didn't, so that was my screw up. So I've only got the double vinyl LP. I think you had to get the additional EP from the official Paul McCartney site, and it's a fantastic record of one of my favorite Paul McCartney periods, one of the peak Paul McCartney, I think. Just we'll take a little look at the it's a great view of my keyboard. The cover of the album. I think the artwork might have been by David Litchfield himself, the director of the video. I got the double LP version, and you can see from the track listings, if you look down, let's see if we can get a better view of that. The perils of trying to use two cameras. So this is such a professional production. You can see tracks like a lot of the stuff from the album that was out at that time, which was Band on the Run, currently riding high on the international charts. And obviously, when that album was made, it was down to the trio of Paul, Linda, and Denny, because Henry McCulloch and Denny Sewell had declined to go to Africa to record that album, and therefore were no longer in Wings. So clearly, I do like this inner sleeve, by the way. Clearly, Paul was going to need to fill out the band for live gigs and further recording. So along came Jeff Britton on drums, And Jimmy McCulloch, little Scotsman on lead guitar, formerly of Thunderclap Newman. This is actually the fold-out that comes with the album, and I think it's the original promotional materials for the one-hand clapping movie or film. So not the full archive collection, as it were, done with some of the other albums, but it's great to get this material together in one place, nicely produced and engineered. So Band on the Run was high in the charts. Paul didn't have a band, so the two new members joining, and this is almost like a, if you look at the track listing on this, you could see this would make a Wings live gig at the time. It probably would have included most of this stuff. It's got almost like a little bit of a greatest hits of Wings, things from McCartney, the McCartney album, the Wildlife album, Red Rose Speedway, and Band on the Run, and some of the singles that Paul did a lot of singles in those days that didn't end up in the albums. It's also got some stuff that never turned up on albums, other than later for compilations or live stuff, like Soily, which finished the Wings Over America set. Fantastic hard rockin' track. One of my all-time McCartney favourites. If somebody says that McCartney doesn't rock, go and play them Soily. The band, so in terms of the quality, you do hear the energy of a band trying to get it together. It's tight in places, a little bit looser in places, but it's energetic, strong. These are strong performances, and it's done over 4 days. So there wasn't an enormous amount of time to lead up to this. You can hear a little bit of it in the background. Great versions for me of 1985 from Band on the Run, with a fantastic Paul vocal. Paul had never sounded better, I don't think, than on some of these sessions. Again, Live and Let Die, brilliant version. He sounds great on that too. Maybe I'm amazed the version on here is quite unique, and I really enjoy it. Extremely strong vocal. Some of the singles that are done, like Sea Moon, High, Junior's Farm, which this lineup did record in the studio. Great stuff. You won't hear the versions of them like that, or with this lineup anywhere else. You can hear Denny Lane's Go Now actually gets a look in on this one too, but Let Me Roll It, great track. It does some of the things that you love to do with old rock and roll stuff. Blue Moon of Kentucky is on here. Obviously one of Elvis's extremely earliest tracks, and it's a great version because it's kind of rockabilly but with a trad jazz edge to it. It swings. It's really nice. There's also some great rock on here with the aforementioned Soily, Jet, 1985, which I think is my favorite track on the album. Great versions of some of the Band on the Run stuff, which obviously you would hear with a slightly later lineup, Jeff Britton leaving and Joe English, arriving on drums for the Wings Over America stuff. So just to sum it up, though, I mentioned a lot of tracks. One Hand Clapping, Paul McCartney and Wings, August 1974 sessions. Absolutely some of the best material that Paul's done, performed extremely effectively. A lot of energy. This band trying to mesh. Jimmy McCulloch's guitar playing is really good. Adds an awful lot to the sound. I like it very much, as you can tell. So go and check some of that material out. You can get the LP or the CD version, obviously in all the normal places. Plus, on YouTube, you can see a lot of the video clips from the movie showing them performing. I would particularly recommend Soily is one you should check out. So Paul McCartney and Wings, One Hand Clapping. Thank you very much for listening to this little video. I appreciate it very much. So I'm sure I'll be doing more music content soon. Until next time, stay well and keep on rocking.